Welcome to the Hope Export Manager overview. Today we're going to review the process of completing Hope records. Hope is a CMS regulatory update set to go live on October 1st, 2025. Hope will replace the existing hospice item set. Let's walk through how the Hope process works in Axxess Hospice from start to finish. We'll begin in the Hope Center. This is the centralized location where all Hope records are displayed as well as their statuses. This includes the admission record that generates on admission, the hospice update visit, HUV1 and HUV2, which generate at the beginning of the HUV time period on day 6 and day 16 respectively, and the discharge record that generates on the discharge of a patient. We will see the documentation status and the submission status of the Hope record coming from the Hope Export Manager. We are able to open the Hope form under the Action column by clicking on View Details. This will open the form just as it would from the Hope Export Manager. For the purposes of this webinar, we are going to view this form from within the Hope Export Manager. To navigate to the Hope Export Manager, the user will select Hope Export from the drop-down menu under Home. Upon entering the Hope Export Manager, the user will land on the Pending Approval tab. This is a critical workspace designed to support efficiency and compliance with Hope deadlines and provides the user with a comprehensive snapshot of each Hope record. Under the Pending Approval tab, you'll see a list of Hope records that have been created but not yet approved. The very first column is days remaining. This shows exactly how many days are left to complete the Hope record before it's out of compliance. This real-time countdown is essential to ensure records are completed with the required CMS timelines of 14 days for admission and hospice update visits and 7 days for discharge. Users can quickly see the reason for the record alongside the event date, which represents the time point CMS will determine completion and submission guidelines. For admission records, this is always the admission date. For discharge records, this is always the discharge date. And for the hospice update visit record, this is always the date the HUV assessments, including the symptom follow-up visits, were completed. If the HUV assessments have not yet been completed or this date has not yet been established in Z0350, the event date will display as the time point range. The system will automatically sort the event date in chronological order so users can prioritize record processing. If the patient is discharged during one of the hospice update visit time points and the assessments have not yet been completed, there is a new option that will allow the user to mark the record as not completed. This option will move the record to the export history screen, and it can be quickly identified by the new pill, Not Completed. If the record was marked not completed in error, the user has the ability to revert the record back to the Pending Approval tab for record processing. Another key feature is the Assessment Status column. This provides visibility to the completion of all required symptom impact assessments tied to the Hope record. This aligns with the symptom impact tracker within the Hope Center. A red X indicates an assessment piece is missing. The symptom impact assessment is not completed. The symptom impact assessment is completed, but the symptom follow-up visit is required and not completed. A green X indicates all symptom impact assessment pieces are completed and the Hope record is ready to be approved. Another powerful tool to further support record compliance and accuracy is the Check Errors button. This triggers the system's built-in data scrubber. When the Check Errors button is clicked, the system runs a real-time validation against the Hope record, scanning for any errors, warnings, or inconsistencies. If any issues are found, they are displayed as pills under the Reason for Record column, giving the user quick visibility into what needs to be addressed before approval. To review the data within the Hope form, the user will click on the View Details button. under the Action column to open the form. This can be done in the Hope Center as well. Under each HOPE section, there are two key components. The first contains an aggregation of data pulled directly from the clinical assessments scheduled during the HOPE time period for the record in focus. The user has the ability to see the visit status, the items answered, and their values. The values are automatically mapped to the second key component, the HOPE form itself. Any answer being used within the HOPE form is indicated by a green highlight. Initially, answers from the first time asked and answered will pull to the form. However, the reviewer has the ability to select the answer from a subsequent visit by clicking on Replace Answer, and then that answer will flow to the HOPE form instead. This review step is essential because the data reported within the HOPE form feeds into the XML that is then submitted to and evaluated by CMS for the Hospice Quality Reporting Program. In the final section of the form, the reviewer will then certify the HOPE information is accurate and reflects patient assessment information satisfying the Z0400 requirement. After a final run of check errors, the reviewer will then approve the record and is prompted to the final verification, which establishes the official completion date under Z0500B within the XML. This date is captured in real time and must be within the 14 days for submission in HUV and 7 days for discharge to maintain compliance. Once the record has been approved, it will move from the Pending Approval tab into the Export Ready tab. When a record reaches the Export Ready state, the user can now generate the XML file required for submission to iKeys. It is important to understand HOPE record submission is part of the Hospice Quality Reporting Program, a pay-for-reporting program. And while the program is not paid for performance, it does require the records be completed and submitted timely, and failure to do so could result in a 4% reduction in Medicare reimbursement. The days remaining column continues to play a crucial role in maintaining HOPE record submission and compliance of 30 days from the event date and reflects exactly how many days the agencies have left to meet this deadline. Once the XML file has been submitted to iKeys, the user will change the record status to exported. The record will move from the Export Ready to Export History tab. In the Export History tab, the user can view a full list of submitted records and track whether they were accepted or rejected or in need of correction based off the iKeys validation report. The user will change the status of the record based on those results. If the record status has been changed to accepted, the user will then have the ability to, and the agency has identified non-key demographic errors in the original submission, the user will have the ability to generate a modification request to be submitted with those corrections. If key demographic errors are identified, an activation request will be required. If the record was rejected, the user will have the ability to correct the record, sending it back to the Pending Approval tab, where they can review the errors, make necessary corrections, and then resubmit the record following standard approval and export workflow. This ensures records are tracked, corrected, and resolved in a timely and compliant manner, helping your agency stay within the completion and submission requirements. Thank you for joining today's webinar on the HOPE Export Manager. We hope you leave today with a clear understanding of the workflow, tools, and best practices that help your agency maintain regulatory compliance. Axxess Hospice is prepared and excited to support you through the HOPE transition. Thank you for watching this demonstration.